Have you ever guys seen the movie Wind River?
What? Why are you flanking me?
What are you talking about?
You got us on three sides.
Get your hand off that weapon. This is private property.
Negative. Nope. I've heard nothing but
Have you ever seen the movie Zodiac?
Are you sure there's nobody else in the house?
No.
Okay.
I haven't,
Pokemon card? Or
I haven't heard anything about that
Have
one.
you ever seen the movie Inglourious Bastards?
Haben Sie das gehört? Das ist das Geräusch meiner Walter.
No. Nope.
That's right, Chuck.
Hello there.
Just check up on her.
99 Nerds podcast. We are here for episode 47? 46?
Man.
I was gone last week.
And the funny thing is, last week we didn't even say an episode.
I think it's
don't remember.
47.
We're up there, that's for sure.
We're doing it. And just so you know, guys, this is podcasting. We today are here to talk about Secret Invasion. We said we weren't going to watch it, and then we did. And we've got thoughts and opinions.
It was super easy, barely an inconvenience to
We're
watch
going to
it.
tell you what went right, what went wrong, what is going on with the MCU, and what happened overall in MCU Secret Invasion. Before we get to that, though, about 3 weeks ago, I promised you guys a top 5 list. I said I would bring it to you, and then I didn't, and then I wasn't here. So we are going to lead off with Austin's top 5 bat suits.
Thank God.
This encompasses animated, live action, video games. Not so much comic, not so much just illustration, more of the shows, movies, and video games. So
It's your favorite way that the Crusader is caked.
one would say, yes. So number 5, we're going to start off with the Justice League animated series from 2001 to 2006. It's just so classic. The proportions of his body are ridiculous. His boots are super pointy. His ears stretch to the sky.
Oh my gosh.
And it's ridiculous. But it is nostalgia. It is what I grew up on, and I love it. Number 4, the Batfleck Batman versus Superman Batsuit. It is texturally one of the best suits that has been on film.
Texturally?
I said it.
Like
the
you wanna-
texture.
like if you were to put your hands upon it.
If you were to touch it.
Isn't that the gorilla suit though?
Yeah, well, here's the only negatives to that suit. The color scheme is fantastic. The way it showed up on film was fantastic in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of the chunky bat.
Oh my
which
gosh.
is kind of like the Frank Miller style. It's
they
kind of
call
like the old grizzled Batman look.
Chunky bat.
That and he's got the super short ears, like complete opposite of Justice League.
Yeah, you don't get good aerodynamics with those things.
No, but it did look very good on film. I like the gray and the black. And admittedly, so this was Ben Affleck's first appearance as Batman. Every single appearance after that, the Batsuit got worse and worse.
I agree.
Culminating in him in the Flash in some ridiculous getup that just looked completely off.
Do you think there is a correlation to how tired Ben Affleck got with how bad the suits became?
Maybe.
Which was the chicken and the egg, you know? It's like,
I think the chicken was his tiredness. And the egg was the suit. All right, number 3, the DC animated movie universe. This is kind of the newer cartoon styles. I sent you guys pictures. The fact that you're not following along is a little insulting, but that's fine. So I just really like this one. The color scheme is great. I love the Batman logo. I love the cowl though. The way it wraps, the shape of where his mouth is looks really good. The ears are perfectly pointy, perfectly long. The only downside is like this animated style does not transition well to real life. I've got a picture in here of a guy wearing a real life version of that suit, and it just looks completely ridiculous with the white eyes. In animation, the white eyes are flawless. In real life, it just looks super creepy.
It's really dark. It's hard for me to see.
Yeah, it was hard for me to find a good picture. But that one, it's not Kevin Conroy, it's Jason O'Mara. And I really like him.
Who's Jason O'Mara?
I mean, Kevin Conroy is the absolute GOAT Batman voice. But Jason O'Mara is a very good replacement, in my opinion. Number 2, The Batman, featuring Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, I like that one.
One simple reason. The Batarang is in the chest plate.
Oh.
Super innovative. Literally the greatest thing I've seen on film. Absolutely melted my brain when I saw it. I love the boots. I love the grunge. I love the new take on Batman.
You like emo Batman.
I like emo Batman. I'm here for it. The only thing I was a little uncertain of when I first saw like the sneak peeks, the cowl looked a little weird. Is a little different. It's like super heavy leather in the front, and then it looks like a different material in the back.
The ears are on the back of the head.
Yeah, but on film, it looked very, very good.
I'll say what I like about that suit is it looks like it's made of just solid chunks of metal.
Sure.
And I believe if a thug, a hooligan, a bad guy were to punch Batman, he would hurt his hand really bad.
Yeah. The only reason it's not number 1 is I'm not super crazy about the collar aspect, but
but the collar's cool. It's new and it's regal.
It is cool. It's new and it's regal. Those are all things that you said and I agree with. But let's get to number 1. Number 1 by far with a bullet, not even close. The Arkham Knight video game suit. It's just so good. It's everything about it. All the gadgets. First of all, he's yoked out of his mind in that game. He is the biggest and strongest Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And he's literally like invincible in that
He's
game.
10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Don't make fun of me. I've been quiet. It probably helps that I've spent the most hours looking at this Batsuit playing that video game. I have visually looked at it the longest, but the cowl is sick. The super high ears look good. It's just super mechanical. Isn't there a point in that game where you like upgrade to that suit? Like you start with a different suit, then when you upgrade to this one, it's like game over.
I feel bad. I only played the first Batman Arkham Asylum game.
Oh,
and I
Sean.
played through it just once. I never got to play the other ones.
I've played all of them. Arkham Knight.
All of them?
Yeah.
You sure?
I've played all of them.
So you've played Asylum, City, Arkham Knight?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's the newest one. And then there's
Gotham, what is it? Sean, do you help me out?
now I need to look it up.
I just told you I never played those games except for the first one.
No, it's not Batman, it's everybody else. It's like,
Batman and Friends.
that might be it.
Minus,
There's an Arkham
minus
collection. There's an Arkham collection. Let me look at all the games in it. I know I've played it all.
It's called Gotham something.
Isn't it just Gotham Knights?
Oh, it might be. Yeah.
But then there's also like the Arkham Origins.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
like the
Arkham
story of him
Origins.
meeting Joker, essentially. Yeah, I've played them all, dude. And that, like in that game, you can switch out your Batsuit to different skins.
Okay.
And I never did. Why would I? They gave you the best one ever.
Dude, I like the Batman Beyond skin. I think that's sweet.
Batman
All
Beyond.
The red and black.
The slim black suit.
After I finish this list, one suit that I want to tip my cap to.
Tip it.
Or wait, what do I usually say?
Taps off.
I want to give taps off to this Batsuit. Honorable mention is that one, the Batman animated series. It was on like Cartoon Network. It's newer. It had Robin and Batgirl in it, and the Joker had dreads.
Yeah.
That Batsuit was sweet.
Oh.
That show was really good.
The Joker was
If you
weird.
look past
It was a
the
little
fact
weird.
that Joker is voiced by an African American man and he has dreads,
He was just trying something.
they did try something. That was I like that show a lot.
It's not just a phase, Mom.
I actually just started that show on HBO.
You did?
Yeah, it's on HBO.
Yeah.
I think it's the Batman from like 2002. It's like the newer one.
Yeah, it's newer.
You could watch.
Which is 21 years old.
Dang.
Holy.
You
Wow.
could watch nothing but Batman animated material for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Where would you rank Michael Keaton's? Because I hated it.
Below, I didn't put the Christopher Nolan suits on there at all, but I think those suits are all better than the Michael Keaton one.
The problem with the Michael Keaton one is it's one piece of rubber. It's rubber. And we make fun of the fact of like, oh, Batman can't turn his neck, but it's like, well, the reason should be because he's got such giant frickin' traps.
Yeah.
There is no, it's impossible.
Right.
Not just because the suit's poorly designed.
And that's him in that video game. Sean, that video game is top tier.
All right, how about this?
And I broke this down during our review of the Batman. The Batman, all the aspects I love it is like the detective Batman. Those elements are so played well.
That's the coolest
in
Batman.
the video game. Yeah.
I want like a Batman show that's like Monk
Dude,
with
yeah.
Tony Shalhoub,
Exactly.
but it's Batman.
That's kind of like that Gotham show on ABC. A young James Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played by that guy that people used to say looked like
You are that guy.
until something changed.
You are literally him.
Thanks. All right, how about this real quick before we finish?
Yeah.
I might pitch you this idea. I want you to imagine Batman, and he's got the look, he's got the cowl, he's got the ears,
Right.
but he also has a hoodie. He never puts it up. He just has that hoodie.
Yeah.
hood.
Just in case it gets real windy, but
So
it
it's
never
like
does.
streetwear Batman.
I like it. I could see Pattinson pulling that out in the second movie.
Where would you rank Lego Batman suit?
Probably just below the Christopher Nolan suits.
I just watched Lego Batman with Emily.
Yeah.
That's a weird movie.
It's pretty funny.
Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
It is like one joke after another.
Darkness.
My favorite part, just real quick, my favorite part is Robin. And I love that it's Job and the people from Arrested Development.
Michael Cera.
Yeah, Michael Cera and Job. My favorite part is when he keeps calling him Dad. He's like, "Don't call me Dad." He's like, "Okay, Papa."
Yeah, that's
It
good
was a great
stuff.
part.
Well, there you go. That's all about.
Those are my top 5. Sean will be bringing
that's all
you.
about Batman.
He will be bringing you a hot new top 5 list next week. We don't even know what it is. He doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah.
No topics are off.
Could be his top 5s.
I think he's gonna do top 5 numbers. Number 4.
Under pressure.
Number 3.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into Secret Invasion. Sean, on a scale of 1 to Secret, how invasive was this show?
You're not going to ask why I have sunglasses on?
I literally don't care.
This is my war alone. And I'm the last person standing between them and what they really want.
No, Sean, why are you wearing sunglasses?
Because I'm hiding something.
What is it?
It's
Your
a
identity?
secret. I don't want you to know if I'm falling asleep or
This
not.
is more suspenseful than the show Secret
Oh my
Invasion.
gosh, that's not wrong. Nothing about that is incorrect.
So how invasive was this show?
It wasn't invasive at all, and it wasn't secretive at all.
I'd argue with that. This was
gosh.
highly invasive.
Oh,
This show, in general terms, really challenged the rest of Marvel. it invaded into the scale of power and what it means to have superpowers.
That's the
and-
truth. They spent $212 million on that show, Sean. Where?
man, I could do a lot with $212 million.
Probably just on the Skrull makeup.
I could make 2 Oppenheimers.
So, Sean, let's talk about this show.
I could make.
we wanna do a
10
one-
I could make 10 Star Wars.
Dang. Do we want to do a 1 to 10 rating?
Can we do it at the end? Because
Sure.
a part of me feels like
That gives me
no
time to
matter
think
what
about
you
it.
think about the show, after we're finished, you're gonna have a more leveled out opinion. Mm-hmm. Because it's like you say, you give a good rating, and then by the time we've torn it to shreds, you're like,
Right.
yeah, this movie, or this show, or the other way around. Maybe you think you hate it, but
Yeah.
something about our discussion inspires a deep empathy within you
Right.
to care longingly about this show in a way you never thought possible.
Well, let's find out.
All right, well, I was going to say, first off the bat, here's the critical flaw with a show like this. There is zero tension.
Yeah.
It's set up like a spy thriller.
Right.
And in theory, it's a perfect premise for a spy thriller.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You got anybody could be a Skrull.
Right.
And okay, how about this? You guys remember we'd play a game, Secret Hitler.
Oh,
Okay?
I've never played this
Really?
game.
That's a great game.
You know how Dave, you know how intense it gets?
When you get that moment
Yeah.
where you get to shoot someone.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out which one's Hitler.
It's like
oh my gosh.
I was watching the show thinking I have personally been involved in things that are more tense than this show, even though this show should have like a way better premise.
Right.
Who's Hitler? Who's one of the fascists? Who's one of the good guys? You know?
Right.
The show really had like no ambition to try. It's awkward too because we hear about tons of reshoots.
Yeah.
But I almost
didn't know that.
I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to wonder if those are just excuses.
Oh.
Like the show's not good and they throw it out there.
Right.
There was reshoots.
This wasn't our original plan.
Yeah, it was all compromised. Don't listen to the critics. It's not pure. So it was zero suspense to almost everything.
Yeah.
Huge bummer.
I was listening to somebody breaking it down a little bit. Shout out to Screen Crush. I really like his videos, but he was saying how you lay out the premise of this show to anybody, and it's like, yeah, okay, I can get down with that. Nick Fury makes this deal with the Skrulls back in 1990, whatever, one. And it's like,
That's my year of birth.
You guys, same. You guys do this for me, I'll find you a new home.
I was born quicker.
I promise you were faster.
I was slower.
I promise to find you guys a new home that you can call New
Scrollopolis. Scrollopolis. Scrollland.
You can all be Skrullilians. He made them a promise. He said, if you just help me out, you can be my spies here on Earth. Help me, with this SHIELD initiative, and I promise to find you a new home. Well, he never finds him a home, and then he disappears, and then he's back, but he's not talking to them. And then you get this specific cell of Skrulls that just go revolutionary and say, screw Nick Fury, screw all this work we've been doing for him, we're taking Earth. And it's like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. That's the general premise of the whole show. You got one guy in particular, he was a kid when he came to Earth. He looked up to Nick Fury, he even called him his hero.
Oh, man.
And he got to the point where he was so let down by him and so frustrated and disillusioned with all of it that he said, screw this, I'm starting New Skrullus. I'm going to get the humans to get to the point where they're going to kill each other because they're so fed up.
Man.
I'm going to be deceptive. I'm going to plant this, and I'm going to have that person on the UN committee, and the Prime Minister of Great Britain is going to be a Skrull, and somebody else, major character, is going to be a Skrull, and we're just going to create tension amongst the humans so that they kill each other, and then we'll take over Earth.
So hearing you describe that
Yeah.
makes it sound like that was the exact level of professional commitment in the pitch meeting for when they actually wrote the show.
Sure.
Just throwing ideas out there, guys. Just
We're all safe
World
here.
War III.
We're safe under the umbrella.
It's all no bad ideas. And then by the end of the meeting, they're like, "Crap, we only have enough for like 70 minutes. More ideas. Go into the trash can in the corner and pull stuff out from whatever the last movies we were making that we threw out."
Right.
Man, what a mess.
It was a big mess.
Here's the thing, Dave. Didn't you say you finished it? What was it, today or yesterday?
Yeah, about like 2 hours ago.
What's the show about?
Well,
Like if I asked you in an elevator and we got a 20-second elevator ride, and I say, "Oh, that's Secret Invasion. I heard about that. What's it about?"
there's an alien species, and they want a new home, but they can disguise themselves like anybody. And so they invaded Earth, and there's millions of them. And
Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
There's a million of them.
Right.
There's 1 million.
Dang. That's too many.
It is too many. These were the big...
All right, I'm going to try. Glasses off.
Well, it's Sean.
I can't see.
Here are the big reveals of this show. Spoiler alert. Nick Fury is a punk. No. First of all, Nick Fury has been married to a Skrull for a long time.
Dang.
Second.
Okay.
These Skrulls have been chilling in Russia for the last 20 years. Apparently, they like radiation. They like being around radiation.
I thought it was because it was they could hide there because they're not susceptible to radiation like humans are.
Okay, that's probably more accurate.
I just made that up.
I think that's what the writers did too.
Russia. We need what are we gonna do? We got to film in like a dirt field with a bunch of abandoned concrete buildings. That's all we got. Location scout failed us. We got to film tomorrow. It's Chernobyl, and they can live there because they're Skrulls.
Yeah, accurate.
Good job, Johnson.
So then
Great idea.
Talos,
Yeah.
the boy that we met in the Captain Marvel. He is the former general of the Skrulls. Failed at his job.
Played by Commander Krudner.
Yeah, I liked him in the first few episodes.
I like that actor a lot.
Yeah, he did a great job, I thought. And he has a daughter. She is working.
So do you.
She is working for the other team. Why?
Oh, man.
Because her mom
Familiar
died.
conflict.
But we don't know how. Here's what this show really struggles with. They tell us a lot of stuff.
It's a very tell, don't show.
Yeah. Mom's dead. How did she die? She did. She died working for Gravik.
Who's Gravik? He's the guy.
He's the guy, dude.
He's the bad dude.
I actually really liked Gravik in this show.
So did I.
I thought it was like you understood his motives. He was mysterious.
I think they did a good job about really setting the tone of like what he wants.
Right.
And like laying it out there. This is why he's doing it.
Right.
And you almost understand it.
Yeah.
It was a good villain, I
Not
thought.
a great leader, though. You can see where things start to unravel. He kills one of his dudes for challenging him. Not the best communicator.
Someone had to go. Someone had to die.
Everybody on his team is kind of like, whoa, wait a second. You just killed like your second in command. Like, wait, what is your plan? And he's like, if you're not down with it, I'll kill you too. So not the best leadership style. But here's the big reveal that everybody went sicko mode over. Rhodey is a Skrull. Here's the problem.
So what?
How long has he been a Skrull, Sean?
It actually doesn't matter.
Did he see Tony die? Was he there?
Matter.
Or was the Skrull there?
It actually doesn't matter.
There's an emotional sequence that takes place. If it's not the real Rhodey, this is all messed up, Sean.
So what I felt the showrunners should have done is they should have approached this show like, okay, we want to create a series that's gonna flip all of the MCU on its head.
Right.
It's gonna make fans afterwards they want to rewatch all of the MCU films,
Right.
Because they're gonna be looking for all those little things
Right.
that we have cleverly, without having to reshoot things, without having to re-edit things, we've retconned little moments in those movies that you can think differently about.
Right.
Remember in Avengers, okay? Loki arrives in, I think it's Germany, right? And he arrives on Earth and he's like forcing this whole crowd of people to bow.
Right.
And, you know, there's the one man who stands up, clearly a World War II vet or something. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, there's never been a man like me. And the guy says, there's always men like you.
There are no men like me. There are always men like you.
It's like, dude, what if you rewatch that scene? You're like, oh, I found out that guy was a Skrull the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm thinking this show could have had the potential to do. It doesn't reset everything. It doesn't ruin things. It just adds all these visual, like these cool things and details that suddenly get all extrapolated out in a cool way.
Something that Marvel has been super good about too. Just like the constant interweaving, the constant Easter eggs from back in Captain America First Avenger. You realize 17 movies later, like, oh my gosh, this was there then. Like they had that in the background then. They knew that character was going to do this then. And they didn't capitalize on how big this show could have been.
Right.
Like you said, with Rhodey, I literally didn't give a dang that he was a Skrull. I don't really care for Rhodey as a character.
Here's actually the biggest problem with it. And this is what I've consistently seen everybody talk about with the show. They tell you who the Skrulls are from the get-go.
Right.
Rhodey, you find out midway through the show, is a Skrull. Here's the thing, though. The real Rhodey isn't around.
Right.
If you had both characters around,
right,
then you create a tension of which one am I talking to?
Exactly.
Where was the scene where two Don Cheadles are in the room at the same time and you frickin' say, I don't know which one to shoot?
Exactly.
How do you make this show and not put that scene in there?
Yeah.
I don't know which one to shoot.
What? Why are you gonna shoot anyone?
Instead, it was, do I shoot Nick Fury or do I shoot,
It's like this scene wrote itself. And you rewrit it to be dumb.
Yeah.
So they take everybody who is the imitated, the Skrulls imitating, and you just put them, you all lock them up in these pods for the whole show.
Right.
Well, like, okay, how convenient for your writing. You don't have to worry about them.
Right.
But that's where there's no tension.
And even with Nick Fury's wife, she took on the personality of somebody who had died.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like in that instance, I'm glad that there was like closure on one end, because it's like otherwise you're married to some lady that might be married to some other guy in real life. But yeah, all the evil Skrulls, they're so evil that they locked away the real people and kept them under suspended animation, absorbed their memories, and like, okay.
So Alfred Hitchcock has this description of how simple but important it is to build tension, okay? You probably heard this before. You're watching a scene where two characters like me and you are talking across a table for 5 minutes. And at the end of the scene, a bomb goes off. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's rethink of the scene this way. At the beginning of the scene, you are shown a bomb under the table that will go off in 5 minutes. And now the guys start talking to each other.
Right.
So the entire scene, there's an elevation of the tension, especially because it doesn't matter what the guys are talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, the more banal and boring and inconsequential what they're discussing is, the better, because the audience is watching knowing this might be their last words at any, you're losing track of time. How much longer is it? And so I'm like, I felt like what needed to happen is characters in this show walk into a room and both the character and the audience does not know what's about to happen.
Right.
And what's terribly awkward is we are never given that opportunity. Nick Fury is not a Skrull. We know that. Talos is a Skrull. We know that. Gravik is a Skrull. We know what he looks like. We know who he is. It doesn't matter if he's in Skrull form or human form. Like, there's no denying who he is. Even Amelia Clark.
Yeah.
Her character is a Skrull. In fact, do you even see her as a non-Skrull at any point in the show? Apart from when she's a little girl?
I think when she gets shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she gets shot.
That's it.
So, I mean, like, it's kind of a bummer because the original Captain Marvel didn't have this problem. In Captain Marvel, the Skrulls arrive on Earth and they just start copying people on the beach.
Right.
But they don't get rid of the people on the beach. They just look like them and carry on their way.
Hey, this one's taken.
In fact, it makes for a cool moment. It's funny, but it's also a good idea where Captain Marvel is on... isn't she on like a bus or something and there's an old lady and she just starts fighting the old lady because she knows it's a Skrull.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great idea. All these surprises you can do.
Right.
Why'd they take that from us?
You didn't do any of that.
What did we do to deserve that?
Somebody was saying, like, imagine you watch the whole series and then the season finale, you find out that there's another Nick Fury that you've, like, half of the episodes you've been following a fake Nick Fury around. Like, And that's just like one small example of what they could have done. There could have been something that literally flipped the whole show on its head with a crazy reveal at the end. Instead, in the middle, they tell you right away, like, Rhodey's a Skrull, here he is. It's like, and somebody also said, like, we have this omnipotent view of everything where we know who's a Skrull right away without much fuss. We know what's going on. And then, like, we're watching Nick Fury find out that, I mean, he kind of discovered himself. He figured it out that Rhodey was a Skrull because he called him Nick when they had their sit-down meeting when he fired him. Right. And it's like, those are the little details that really clever writing, it's like a good payoff for. There's that happens in Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange and Ron. No, Wanda. Ron, yes. Wanda are having that whole conversation, and at the very end of the conversation, she mentions, "Yeah, just bring America Chavez to me," and that's like, it went over my head when I saw the movie, but then it's like, oh, you never told me her name. And like, I kind of want moments like that. Right. What I thought would have been really an excellent idea is taking moments throughout all the MCU films, just reusing footage, reusing alternate takes, outtakes, whatever, and just finding a way of visually showing somebody in the background. Right. That was a Skrull. That security guard. Don't just tell me about the missions, all these crazy missions Nick Fury had us go on. You had me kill this guy, and then I took his face. Show me something.
Dude, this is exactly what I was saying about, like, show me, tell me, and teach me. Right. There's 3 different ways you can do a character. Yeah. And that's what I was complaining about with Captain Marvel.
Remember how in Spider-Man Far From Home, we got to see the other side of Tony Stark's hologram presentation, and you got to see Jake Gyllenhaal feeling insulted by it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then you also got to see the other side of the bad guy from Iron Man 1, Obadiah. You got to see the other side of him yelling at one of his scientist, lackeys, and how that affected him. Right. So I'm thinking, like, you can do this. They've already done it. You just take some moments in those films and you give a whole different context. Right. Another thing I thought would be kind of fun is you could do that with not just like random background characters. You could do it with the superheroes. Like in Ant-Man, there's the first Ant-Man, I think it is. Ant-Man has to go into like the Avengers compound to like find something. Right. And the only one who's there on duty for whatever reason is the Falcon. Right? Yeah. Yeah. And it's just this like little inconsequential scene. It's not really of a big deal, but it's almost like, what if you went back and you said, oh, well, actually the Falcon, that wasn't really the Falcon. Nick Fury just kind of had one of the Skrulls cover for him. Right. Like little things like that that are trivial, that don't change the plot, aren't like interrupting character arcs, but little things like that totally can. And also, you know what I was super annoyed by? Remember how in Avengers Infinity War, not just the movie was a huge success, but it became a cultural phenomenon, the snap. Right. Like, what was it? There was a subreddit that had a whole thing of, a million people were on the subreddit, and somebody did a program that randomly 50-50 banned half of the people on it and sent them to another subreddit.
It was like all the people who said Thanos was right.
Yeah, it's like this cool thing of like people could get invested culturally and make memes out of that idea of getting snapped. Right. I mean, we still see it, like, somebody doing, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Right. So what if, because of this show, Secret Invasion, it's created such an entertaining idea of the paranoia of who could be a Skrull. Right. You start seeing people making jokes about real life celebrities. Yeah. I didn't know this, but apparently in the comics, Stephen Colbert, the Stephen Colbert by name, is in the Marvel comics, but he's a Skrull. And I was thinking, you could have gotten Stephen Colbert to do it. He would have done it.
Dude, I don't give 2 Fs. That mother effer is not real.
Like at the end of the show, they have this really weird montage that we can get into why it is the most problematic thing I've ever seen. Where like these radical guys run into a news studio and just shoot the anchor or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, hold on, what kind of show has this become?
Well, yeah. So that's like,
now the story starts, right? Last 5 minutes.
The last 5 minutes. So that was one thing that this show was getting ripped for. It's like the president. We don't know who he is. We don't know what his policies are. We don't know how long he's been the president in the MCU. Like, there have been mentions of the president wants to take action against Wakanda. It's like, is that this guy?
Right.
And all of a sudden, he's so anti-Skrull. He basically calls on everybody to just shoot the Skrulls. So you've got people just running up to like politicians and capping them in broad daylight.
Like, what the frick is? What are you, guys? What are you doing?
So Nick Fury calls and is like, hey, you're an idiot. What are you doing?
This is a worst case scenario.
Literally.
This is the worst timeline. Yeah. This is a mess we're going to need an entire show to fix.
Right. Yeah. So one thing I didn't mention, the Gravik, the young boy who becomes radicalized, wants to create, Earth as his new home. He's got scientists working for him essentially to become a super Skrull. He wants to acquire superpowers. That was one thing that they revealed to the audience, and then we saw Nick Fury find out about it. So there's actually, I thought one of the best scenes in the whole show.
Nothing better than the audience knowing something and then just waiting for the protagonist to catch up.
Exactly. So when Talos and Gravik are at like that restaurant, and they're having their talk, and then like he threatens him, and all the Skrulls behind become Gravik. That was like a really heavy scene.
I thought that scene would have been perfect if it was like the third scene in the show.
Yes.
Not like episode, whatever it was, 2 or 3, where it's like, it doesn't matter that the room is filled with Skrulls anymore, guys.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
It's already been played out. But in that scene, he mentions his daughter, and Talos immediately stabs him in the hand.
Oh,
brother. Got him.
No, that was sick.
That was sick.
It was a super intense moment, but then they show him sliding his hand out of the knife and healing.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh, he's already got some superhero abilities from this machine that these scientists have created. And we find out that his whole mission is, all these years, Nick Fury has been having his Skrull spies collect DNA from heroes and villains after big battles, so that they called it the harvest.
I don't even think it's the Skrulls that he had doing that. I think it's just his network of SHIELD operatives in general were doing this.
So they were collecting all
and Gravik is aware.
No, it was the Skrulls. He said, because it was on the DL, he was having the Skrulls shapeshift into whoever he needed them to be.
So why did Gravik not have that at the end, and he needed to threaten the world to get Nick Fury to deliver it to him?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like Nick Fury was the only one who had it. I don't know how.
So one of the bigger problems I have with the show isn't just the lack of tension, the problem with setting any scenes and using the premise of the show to fuel drama, but like the central conflict itself, I feel like doesn't really. It's off, because the idea that like we just want to create World War III.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Well, because we wanted a homeworld, we don't have a homeworld, so we're gonna just what? You're gonna kill all the humans? If World War III happens, you guys are dead too. I don't know how you think this is gonna work for anybody. So like, I don't actually know where the drama is. And also the biggest problem with that premise is it's so black and white evil. Like, it doesn't actually make sense. So I had thought, here's a better idea for a conflict that naturally works for everyone involved. Bit by bit, it gets revealed, and you can start this off in the prologue. They kind of did this, where they had Martin Freeman's character investigating somebody and fighting him, and then running away, and you find out he's a Skrull. But there could be a slow reveal to society, like, holy cow, some of these people aren't people.
Right.
There's a police shooting, and the guy died and he was not a person. He became a Skrull. There was an accident at somebody's work and it was a Skrull. And now society is starting to become unhinged.
Yeah.
Because who's who anymore, and I don't know who to trust. And now I don't know if I can trust my leaders. Now I don't know if I can trust my own friends and my family. I don't know, you start getting this paranoia.
Especially if there are a million of them on Earth.
Yeah, and now there's no limit.
Right.
To who could be who. And so you can see like an escalation of the conflict. There's a scene in The Boys, that Amazon show, which is kind of like a very dark, satire of superheroes. But it has an opening for one of the episodes where there is a character who is listening to anti-superhero propaganda everywhere he goes. He's listening to podcasts, it's on TV, it's on radio, or whatever. And what he does is it's all playing in the background for him, and you don't know how much it's affecting him until he goes to a convenience store one morning and he sees, he's talking to this convenience store owner, and he sees like light from a passing by car reflecting the sun kind of flashes over his eyes or something. And it makes him freak out that this guy working at the counter could be a superhero, could be one of them. And so then like the next scene, he shows up with a gun and shoots the guy. But it's like this culturally relevant thing of like, I don't know who I can trust. Are you one of them? And the nation's so divided. So it was like really cool idea of introducing relevant real world satire along the lines of the premise of that show. So if you were doing this in Secret Invasion, like I said, society starts to become unhinged. Well, not only do you have human beings getting worried about this, then you also have the Skrulls getting worried.
Right.
Because many of them are peaceful. Many of them have just been living on Earth, and now they don't know how safe they are.
Right.
And so you have good Skrulls who suddenly don't know if they can trust humanity.
Yeah.
You got bad Skrulls who don't know if they can trust humanity.
Yeah.
You got bad Skrulls who don't know if they can trust other Skrulls. What if I get turned in? What if one of those other Skrulls rats me out?
Right.
What if you found out your best friend is a Skrull, but is your best friend? And it's already like, oh man, what if my best friend was an illegal immigrant or something? And it's like, I gotta make a decision. Do I call him in, or do I try to smuggle him out?
Right.
Do I hide these Jews in my basement?
Dude, preach.
It's like you gotta introduce relevant stakes that affect anybody watching the show personally. Because like a plot about like, we're just gonna start World War III. We're gonna blow up a city. We're gonna blow up some giant building. And we're also going to somehow, through the most contrived way possible, blame it on, I guess, the Russians.
We're going to try to assassinate the president.
Yeah, it's like, guys, you're slammed on the accelerator here, and you don't even know where you're going anymore.
Right. That's a very good.
And then like a whole like, oh, they're going to launch a nuke from a missile, and somebody on the thing's got to stop it.
Yeah.
It's like, this doesn't even have anything to do with the characters of the show anymore.
Right.
Like, what does this have to do with Nick Fury?
Right.
It's also awkward because I feel like the show didn't make Nick Fury a central part of this plot, when in theory he is the most important one.
Right.
Because it's his fault the Skrulls are on Earth in the first place.
Right.
And what happened a few years ago in the MCU, Austin, that changed the game forever?
They cast Tom Holland as Super Spider-Man.
No, what happened when Thanos won?
The snap.
And who was one of the people who got snapped?
Nicholas J. Fury.
And what happened to Nicholas J. Fury? He was gone for 5 years.
Dude, that's a long time.
What happens to the hundreds of thousands of remaining Skrull?
Oh my gosh.
When their one very strategic and important ally, their mediator, is gone.
Oh no.
You end up with a very unruly, organized situation. People don't know what to do.
Yeah.
All these Skrulls don't stay centralized anymore like Nick Fury needed them to be, working together and kind of living in their own area. They start spreading out along the world.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
If they were just in, just outside S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters or something, well, we'll figure it out. We'll talk to them. But then you find out, well, one's in Russia, one's in China, one's in goddamn Antarctica. What is he doing there?
Oh.
He just wanted to get out of there. I don't know. He just wanted to get away.
Oh, conspiracy theories.
So not only do you get to put Nick Fury as the central reason the plot is happening, you also get to create a reason why the Skrulls have a vendetta against him personally.
Right.
Because so many things are his fault. So it's secret invasion. Nick Fury has been keeping a secret from everybody for 30 years.
Yeah.
He's been keeping these Skrulls a secret. Nobody knew. Not even Maria Hill. And now what?
Gosh.
And now what?
She gone.
And now everyone's finding out about them. And suddenly everybody's pointing their fingers at Nick Fury. What can he do? Who can he go to?
Not the Avengers.
He can't call up the Avengers. What happens if he calls one of them and it's not an Avenger that shows up, it's a Skrull?
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, holy cow, the consequences of my actions. It's all coming up. I was using these things like ChatGPT.
Oh no.
I was using these things just to cut all the corners. I wanted Tony Stark to visit that kid in the hospital. I just got one of the Skrulls to do it. I was thinking, it was all altruistic. I was just trying to be a nice, benevolent guy. And I was thinking, I'm just trying to help out. I'm just making, superheroes better. I'm just trying to do this thing. And it's like, no. You got Skrulls out there who are like, I don't want to stop looking like this person. That other guy, he can leave. I think you should leave.
Yeah, dude.
I think you're onto something there. I like this Make-A-Wish fraudulent thing that Nick Fury had going.
In a less cynical show, you'd have this scene where it's Rhodey shows up at a hospital to and cheer some kid up.
Yeah.
And then the other Rhodey shows up.
Hawkeye at a birthday party.
The other awkward thing maybe about the show is, and nobody can explain to me how the show was so expensive but they couldn't get other actors. It is awkward that they couldn't get more MCU characters.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not complaining about the draw of Martin Freeman or nothing, but
Right.
You get him for one scene.
Yeah.
Couldn't you get, I don't know, any of the other people for one scene? Even if it's just for one scene.
Right.
It's a gag.
Right.
Where, they get shot or something.
Yeah.
You could have gotten Jon Favreau.
Heck yeah. Happy boy.
What about that boy, that guy who was in Iron Man 2? That, what's Elon Musk or whatever his name was?
Elonius?
Yeah, you could have a scene where he just gets decapitated because they think he's a Skrull, but he wasn't a Skrull. Oh no, what have we done? My bad.
The lizard people, man, they're up there.
Mark Zuckerberg confirmed he is a lizard man.
He is a Take him out. So we do not condone violence on this podcast. So one of the things you were talking about, they didn't really make Fury the focal point of his own show like they could have. And Gravik's whole beef with him, Gravik never got the showdown with him that he wanted. One of the big plot twists at the end is Fury is going to bring him this vial. He's going to bring him the harvest with the DNA of all these superheroes so that he can put it into his machine and become a super Skrull. And because otherwise he's going to blow up the earth, he's going to kill somebody, whatever. And he shows up and it's this big drawn out scene. They have this argument, yada, yada. He gives him the vial. He puts it in the machine with Nick Fury in the machine with him. Well, that was convenient because it turns out to be Gaia the whole time. It wasn't even Nick Fury. I mean, it was done very well where they trick you into thinking this is for sure Nick Fury.
It also might be the only use of the shape-shifting to create a twist in the whole show.
Exactly. The one time it's wow, that was a good twist. Why has there not been 4 of those in every single episode?
Or how about every scene?
Yeah.
I don't know if the person I'm talking to is who I want to be talking to.
This is where the internet completely lost its chill because Gaia and Gravik acquire all the powers. Both of them acquire every single power.
Captain Marvel, the most OP character. You got her DNA in this file. You got the Hulk's maybe She-Hulks. One of them in this vial. You got Groot. You got Drax. You got Mantis. You got every freaking superhero that we know.
Did they get Hawkeye's powers?
What powers?
Oh, nice.
Here's a couple issues I have with that. Obviously, they created 2 characters immediately that are so overpowered. What do you even do? So obviously they fight, and they fight to the death. Gaia kills Gravik with a laser beam shot to the chest. She uses his Mantis. I thought it was cool. She uses Mantis's powers to put him to sleep, because we had talked in previous episodes about how like Guardians Volume 3 really highlighted Mantis and like how powerful she actually is. So it was cool for them to like throw that tidbit in there. But the shot where she changes her arm to Drax is probably the worst CGI shot in the entire MCU. Brutal.
Nah, She-Hulk twerking.
Well, hey, at least
it was
at
actually
least She-Hulk.
done
At
pretty
least
well.
at least that scene was in HD.
Yeah.
And it was well lit.
So here's
that whole fight scene is just brown.
Yeah. Here's one of the issues I have. At some point, she also acquires the powers of Ghost from Ant-Man 2. And
I noticed that.
Like she phases through like an attack. But that character Ghost doesn't even know how to control her own power. Yet Gaia knows how to perfectly control all of these powers at the exact same time. And then Gravik uses the power of Ebony Maw, which is like Thanos' second in command guy. He's the one that Tony kills, where they shoot a hole in the ship and he gets sucked out into space.
Because of that really old movie Alien.
Yeah, exactly. Question. How did they get his DNA exactly?
Sometimes you just gotta trust it.
And second, how would Gravik know how to use his power? How does he even know who he is?
You just gotta do you just gotta fingers.
Just swipe and move.
Still gotta fingers.
What is that from?
Craig Ferguson.
Craig Ferguson.
Did you know you can arrange all the letters of your name to spell cougar fingers?
Dude, I watched so much of his show when I was younger. It was like right after I graduated high school, and I was up till 2 a.m. every night watching the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson.
That's why you are successful the way you are right now.
Your fingers, dude. Craig Ferguson was elite. He was better than all the other late night shows, and he just didn't get his flowers for it. But
He
yeah,
was
so
too good.
That was one of the problems I had. I was like, wait a second, how the heck did they even get Ebony Maw's DNA? He got sucked into space. I guess he showed back up in Endgame, but at that point, like Fury wasn't even there.
Yeah, they all got dusted.
Right. So what the heck, man? I don't know. It makes sense if they would have had his other guy. You know, the guy who got his arm cut off by Doctor Strange portal. That makes sense. His DNA was all over the place.
We got a big chunk of it right here. Guys.
But he was just like strong. I don't know. He had a big hammer.
Yeah,
but not Thor.
I think the biggest problem is Marvel doesn't know how to scale things. Every show, every movie is trying to outdo the last one.
Right.
And it's a world-ending threat that's so crazy that like we're just so saturated with this that we don't care. We don't really believe it anymore.
Right.
Oh, World War III. Okay, sure.
Right. That is it. The stakes are always so high.
And it's not believable anymore. You want to start World War III, launch a nuke, kill the president, all in like the same episode. Like, you got to chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's got a group power, and like, there's so this like. I don't know how to explain it other than like the scale of things are so off in Marvel. And then like, that's just the threat level I'm talking about. But then you get into like power levels, and you got Gaia and Gravik, 2 Skrulls who are wielding the power of every hero we know.
Right.
It's very distasteful.
One of the things that the Screen Crush guy was saying was like, what's her name? Emilia Clarke.
Amelia Clarke.
Her whole character is like does like nothing throughout the show. She's essentially just in a lot of scenes where she's kind of staring off into the distance, looking and listening to something, and then she'll say like one line.
Give her a chance.
Well, it's like the whole reason she was in the show was so at the end she could get all the powers. And even there's a scene where she leaves Gravik. She goes to her dad. She asks her dad, "What's your plan?" He doesn't really have one. So then she just leaves. And it's like, where are you going? She doesn't go back to Gravik. She doesn't stay with her dad. And then her dad dies. And she doesn't even like have like a much of a reaction to it other than she wants him to be buried the proper Skrull way. I don't know.
What was the proper Skrull way again?
They had some ritual where they did a Skrull prayer and then I don't even remember. I was watching it while I was driving, so I was only. Don't tell.
That's how they were writing it.
Don't tell Gretchen I did that. I wasn't holding my phone though, so it's fine. So I was only paying attention 70%.
I'm not too interested in kind of complaining about the little plot holes related to how they got those heroes different powers, because to me, it's fundamentally the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And so I'm like, it's not like, it's like...
We can nitpick, but
I'm not really like, at some point, it's like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It doesn't really matter what color you painted it in. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many sprinkles you put on it.
Apparently,
it's done.
Kevin Feige put the rubber stamp. He said, go crazy. I want as many powers as you can think of. Let's throw it all in there.
Kevin was on vacation.
Dude, the bot was in
time.
control.
The bot. Kevin, is that you or is that the liquor talking?
So I don't know. Anything else you want to say?
I hate that there's no boundaries anymore.
Yeah.
You got movies of people just trying to get the super soldier serum. And then you got a stupid show like this where it's the super soldier serum plus 17 other people's powers.
It's also like such a bummer because, like you said earlier, it's like World War III, assassinate the president, cause global conflicts, fill a specific villain with every power. And it means like it doesn't feel like it has any weight to it at all.
Right.
Which is incredibly disappointing because you can get so much more out of smaller scenes. Game of Thrones, you guys talked about that. Like Game of Thrones doesn't have to have apocalyptic things.
Right.
It's not until it does in the last 2 seasons that people really got disappointed with it.
Yeah.
Because you can have like, have you ever guys seen the movie Wind River?
What? Why are you flanking me? What are you talking about?
You got us on 3 sides.
Get your hand off that weapon. This is private property.
Negative. Nope. I've heard nothing but
Have you ever seen the movie Zodiac?
Are you sure there's nobody else in the house?
No.
Okay.
I have a Pokemon card? Or
I haven't heard anything about that one.
Have you ever seen the movie Inglourious Bastards?
Haben Sie das gehört? Das ist das Geräusch meiner Walter.
No.
Nope.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar with the game Russian Roulette?
Yeah, okay.
So imagine
played it.
I write a scene where some guy has like 6 people in a room he doesn't trust. And he says, all right, I'm going to start killing every one of you until I find the Skrull.
Right.
And like you're an audience member watching this, and before it's happening, it's like your heart is racing.
Right.
And it's not World War III. It's just one thing with one group.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Dude, you're right.
I need that bomb to go off in 5 minutes, killing 2 people I know nothing about.
Right.
But it's gonna matter when it happens.
Right.
Remember how they killed off Maria Hill?
Yeah. That happened way too quick.
It was like, oh, what did they think? What did they think we were gonna think? It's the end of the first episode, like, oh man, they killed off Maria Hill. This show is gonna be awesome. I can't wait to tune in next week. Sold. Didn't she just get like shot once in the stomach? And that was it.
Gravik, he scrolled into Nick Fury and shot her.
Man, Maria, I feel like that you've been through a lot.
Yes.
That's a dumb way to go.
To go out that way is tough.
Also, moments later, the guy blew up a plaza.
Right.
That's a little bit more of a relevant way to kill off a character
Right.
like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Instead of like, boom, but it's like 700 feet behind me.
Right.
How about like
Maria Hill is carrying the backpack? I got it. I got the backpack.
Boom. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. That's so much better.
You know what's another problem with that show that I couldn't help but notice is how every single moment in the show that should have been dramatic, should have had any kind of value at all as far as storytelling, they constantly were using music to make you feel that way, when I personally felt most of the time it detracted from it. And it really stuck with me during that scene with Talos meeting Gravik in the restaurant. And they're talking and talking and talking, and then Talos gets upset, and then the next thing you know, like, the whole room is filled with Skrulls, and like, I am totally outnumbered here.
Right.
And I'm like, I rewatched the scene like 4 or 5 times because I'm like, why doesn't this work? One, it was because it was way too late in the show, and this isn't a twist. There's no suspension of disbelief I have about the restaurant being filled with Skrulls. Like, this doesn't matter to me. But the biggest reason I think I didn't like it was because the music manipulates you into the surprise. Like, the music swelling and swelling and swelling, and then that, moment happens, and then it's like, and I'm like, wouldn't this be so much more dramatic if there was no music? Think about it like this. There's just like the sound of him standing up, the scooting of his chair on the tile, and then like the clinking of glasses as people put their forks down, and then just and like sit back down in the seat, and it's just like still. And it's like the silence is deafening.
Right.
Like, that's tension, dude.
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men. One of the best thrillers you'll ever see. Did you guys ever see No Country for Old Men?
Call it. Call it, yes. For what? Just call it.
God, no.
Never asked.
Okay.
Nothing but good things.
It's a movie that's really, really well executed in tension.
Is that
Javier Bardem,
Yeah.
Josh Brolin?
Didn't he win something for that one?
Everything.
He won it all.
He won it all, but lost everything.
Oh my gosh.
The movie has no musical score. He lost it. The movie has no musical score.
Dang.
And that's what makes it work.
Wow.
Because every scene, it's like you are stuck waiting. And the music there's no clue from the music to know when something's about to happen or not.
Yeah.
So here's how I would rewrite the show.
Yeah.
I would take all the things we've discussed, and here's how I would rewrite the opening scene.
Yeah.
You actually borrow it from the comics, because I looked this up. In the comics, the way they started this whole Secret Invasion storyline, somebody brought in the dead body of Elektra, played by Jennifer Garner.
Nice.
But it wasn't Elektra. It was a Skrull. And the characters, the different superheroes are standing around going like, wait a minute. What? And then they just kind of start looking around at each other. And suddenly it's starting to dawn on everybody at once, like, who else in this room could be a Skrull? And they start walking out.
Right.
So here's what I say you do. Because you don't need to complicate it by introducing heroes and like major character deaths right away. And because this is not just a show about superheroes and major characters, this is a show about society. Here's what you can do. You have, let's say it's a gang or something. Or it's a police station, right? Everybody's standing around, hanging out. And, somebody says, hey, where's Jason with my coffee? Yeah, he's supposed to be here by now. He's supposed to pick everybody up coffee or whatever. And then somebody brings it, and the door smashes open. Guys. And they bring a body in. But it's not human. It's a goddamn Skrull. Dang. And everybody's staring at it. These aren't like they've seen a lot of crazy things. They've seen aliens. They've seen superheroes. Like, they're not completely blindsided by this, but they don't know what they're looking at.
Right.
And the guy starts to describe, like, I thought this was, Mike. It was Mike, and then he got shot, but it's not Mike anymore. It's like this thing.
Right.
And everybody's like freaking out. And then John's there, John's standing there going like, this isn't good. And then the door opens again. And it's Jason. And he's got all the coffee. And then people look over and Jason's already in the room.
Oh my gosh.
And there's like a moment of like, it all just stops.
Dude.
And then, guns out. People falling over.
Right.
Dust settles, smoke clears. The guy who was holding the coffee cups survives. Okay?
And it's just a bunch.
The other Jason is dead. But he doesn't turn into a Skrull.
He's the human. Yeah.
And before everybody goes, oh, well, you're the Skrull, kill the Skrull. The Skrull
kills himself.
No. he hands the coffee over. It's like, yeah, I got it the way you like it. It's like, dude, oh my gosh. How long have I been best friends with the fake Jason?
Dude.
It's not just the fact that we killed the real Jason.
Right.
I might have been best friends with a Skrull.
Yeah. Yeah, just like the everyday.
And then play that weird AI artwork, animated intro.
Dude, they were early on that Mid-Journey when they got those images.
What's funny is I read about that on the internet, like, oh, they used like some AI art thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then I watched it, and I'm like, this looks awful.
Right.
And then it's like, well, yeah, that's the thing. It was like it's like the really unsettling nature of it. I'm like, yeah, it's unsettling. All right, it does not look good.
You guys didn't take any prompt classes. You got to learn how to use that thing.
When'd you make this? Like last year?
6 months ago.
And then they had to do all the reshoots.
They had an opportunity to get that new and improved Mid-Journey. They didn't. All right, Sean. So 1 out of 10. How invasive was these secrets?
I mean, I think I would have given the show, like, it's not irredeemable. I think most of the actors do a fine job, and there's some moments in it that are okay. But I think for me, what drags its number down so much lower is I was obsessed with what I felt it could have and should have been.
100%. That's kind of like that's why Hulk was so high on our worst character list. Because of what he could have been.
Okay.
What if they haven't seen that episode, Austin?
Well, you better go watch 2 episodes ago. 2 episodes ago when we break down our top, what was it, 25? Top 25 worst MCU characters in the MCU.
Speaking of worst MCU characters,
bring it.
I wouldn't put Gravik or Gaia on that list. I don't think they're that bad.
I actually liked the acting. I like Gravik.
I thought Gravik was pretty good.
Thought he was cool.
Yeah.
Also, like in Emilia Clarke's defense, I don't know why, but I feel like she doesn't actually have to try very hard for anything. She just gets to show up.
Right.
And just be there, and we're like, okay, good for you.
And like Rosario Dawson does that too, but
oh my gosh.
Anyway,
so I think I would give Secret Invasion, honest to God, I give it a 2 out of 10.
Dang.
I'll give it a 4.5.
Oh my gosh.
What about you, dude?
Dude, I thought the show was like, it had a great premise.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been so cool, but then it got away at the end with all the stupid powers and the CGI battle. And
the worst part about all that is how the heck are they going to fix that? They haven't even fixed the giant frickin' celestial stone giant in the middle of that ocean. From Eternals.
From Eternals. I actually just downloaded it on my Disney Plus. So
I thought you said you watched it.
No, not Eternals.
Okay.
I just downloaded it today so that I can watch it.
I'm sorry I spoiled the ending for you, but
it's fine. I wasn't gonna watch it or anything. David, 1 to 10. How secret were your invasives?
Oh man, I don't know what my other ratings are, but
I could tell you.
Honestly, the action was pretty good.
The lowest score you gave was Flash at 7.4.
What did I give She-Hulk?
I don't have any of those ratings.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give this show. I'm gonna give it a 4.8 out of 10.
Wow. Okay.
I thought the action was good. I thought the plot was good until it wasn't. And that's kind of how I felt about The Flash too, where it was good and then it wasn't. But
I forgot that the last shot of that movie was him smiling awkwardly at the camera and then his tooth falling out.
The Flash.
Yeah.
I forgot about that too.
And someone's like, I can see the director now, like, cut. And that's a wrap. Man, people are gonna love this. It's like, what did you expect me to do? Stand up and go, yes! Like, oh man.
They thought we would
Hopefully
laugh. They thought we would laugh and forgive everything else.
Right.
Flash. You mean well. And so I'm gonna let it all go.
Hopefully that's the last time we see Ezra. He can suck it. All right. Closing thoughts, closing opinions. Close it out. We will. So right now, Ahsoka is out. A few episodes have dropped. My intentions are to wait and then binge that mother, and then we can all reconvene. We'll all binge it. David's been watching it, and then we can give you guys a full series wrap. We're not going to do the episode by episode thing. We'll just break it down all together.
I've heard there's a hallway scene.
Oh my gosh!
Right away.
Oh, right away.
Felonious loves a good hallway.
Dude, you can't start a show with a showstopper.
That's true.
Well, the guy died, so it's like...
Oh, okay, good.
Dang.
Never mind that.
Not a full hallway scene then.
You
David.
have to make it to the end of the hallway.
No, like it was honoring because the actor died.
Oh. I guess I'll find out. David, do you want to say 7 words about the show?
Um,
I only just used one. 6 words.
Acting bad.
Okay.
Show dumb.
Okay, you got 2 more.
Annoying. Cheesy as hell.
I'll let it slide. All right. Well, David is right now not impressed. We'll see what happens as it progresses. Sean, any other thoughts? I feel like there was a couple notes I wanted to bring up. Some stuff that was happening in the world.
Yeah, some rumors that I've heard.
What, David? Talk to us.
Well, for one...
Was this a gossip podcast now?
Yeah, we're going to gossip. You guys ready? Let's talk about...
Who's dating who?
Domestic abuse.
Good God.
Jonathan Majors' trial.
Oh my God.
Is, I think, next week.
You
there's
are
a
our
trial?
Jonathan Majors correspondent.
I'm just waiting to see what happens.
There's a trial?
Yeah, they're waiting to see if he's innocent or guilty.
Wait, I thought... But is it a criminal trial? Like literally prosecution for felony charges, or are we talking like just a civil trial?
I don't know, but either way, Marvel is waiting to see where the direction of their future is going to be. Is it with Jonathan Majors, or are they going to shift gears?
Or was he a Skrull?
He's at the podium. It wasn't me.
What if I told you that little thing could fix all of the dumb stuff MCU has been trying to fix?
It was a variant of my...
Yeah, it was
Your Honor, my client was in goblin mode when he did this.
It was a Skrull.
But I did hear rumors that Tobey Maguire could have a Spider-Man 4 movie. Sam Raimi. I also heard rumors that Tobey will be in Secret Wars along with Andrew Garfield.
I'd like to remind you that Secret Wars is never going to happen.
Why, Sean?
We're not going to get there.
Yeah, because of the strike.
Yes.
And because half the characters might die by the time we get there, like literally in real life, the actors and actresses.
Yes. And because like all of the steam will have run out by then.
Do you think Janet Van Dyke will make it?
There is another... Oh, gosh. I hope so. I want to see her death scene. And I want it to be a big deal.
I called Secret Invasion Secret War probably 7 times until they were like, yeah, I started Secret War. It's like, wait, what?
No, you didn't.
How? I got some more news. Disney is being sued.
Nice.
For lying about their box office profits.
Oh, they've been fluffing them numbies, dude.
I hate when they fluff those. There's a film financer that claims they lied about hundreds of millions in box office profit.
Dang.
The claim states that Disney used nearly every trick in the book to hoard these earnings.
Fudge the numbers.
And Disney still hasn't made a statement. So,
interesting.
In other news, The Flash, biggest financial loss ever for a superhero film.
I truly...
And it's funny because it's not that bad. It's not that bad of a movie.
It's not that bad.
It doesn't deserve that.
I truly believe if they would have replaced Ezra Miller, it would have been a success.
I'm holding out for Aquaman 2 to take that title.
Yeah, that's gonna be an L, dude.
I feel like we could go to the movies the night it comes out and act out something better than that movie will play.
We will.
How bad?
If that makes any sense.
How bad did Morbius do? I mean,
dude, it's more than 10.
Because I'm curious, like, if the Flash can only lose so much money. You know, it's like the movie cost this much to make, and then you have all the marketing costs in addition to that.
You want worldwide number?
Yeah, like there's a cap of how little it can, or how much it can lose.
$167.5 million.
It lost 167 and a half?
That was how much it made.
It made 167 million. And for what? Like a overall $300 million?
Budget was $75.83 million. So it made $90 million.
So it probably didn't break even.
Probably not.
You'd call that a flop.
Yeah. So then Flash budget was...
I mean, I'm thinking like...
$200 million. And an advertising budget of at least $65 million.
Yeah, I mean, because then you're just talking about losing about $100 million overall. Which... Yeah. I'll remind you is a lot of money.
Right.
But again, we've talked about like the slot machine these studios are playing. It's like a rounding error. It seems like.
Yeah.
Like, who thought throwing that much money at a Flash movie was a good idea?
I don't know, but in other news...
Well, did you hear Kevin Smith said that they desperately tried to get Christian Bale to be the Batman at the end?
Nobody knows who Kevin Smith is, Austin.
Kevin Smith, he's the GOAT. No, he's not.
He's got 2 big horns. He's got a goatee. He's got a goatee. He's a filmmaker.
He was involved.
He's a nerd. His big breakout role was in Die Hard 4, where he was part of a really dumb joke about Star Trek versus Star Wars.
What does Kevin Smith have to do with the Flash?
He lost a lot of weight. Good for him. He had a heart attack, and that kind of motivated him to get healthy.
I guess. Anyway,
he made.
He's a
Clerks.
part. He's a part of this whole world. But anyway,
Are you sure? He might be a Skrull.
I can't remember exactly his role.
Kevin Smith is a real human.
But he said they desperately tried to get Christian Bale to be the Batman at the end, and Christian Bale just said no to them like 70 times.
Yeah.
And then at the last second, they got George Clooney instead. Which it all makes sense now to see behind the scenes. Like, they didn't want George Clooney, but they had no other option.
Nobody did.
Why would Christian Bale make it better?
I don't know. Just makes it more legit.
Why?
I don't know.
It wouldn't.
I don't know, Sean.
It would. You would have the same. It would be the same effect. That's it.
It would be more of a what?
And yeah,
and then that would be it.
And then we'd roll our eyes and leave the theater.
And that's probably.
And
why
I would have a harder time finding a dumb GIF of Christian Bale running for his life after James Gunn starts shooting Ezra Miller.
You know, James Gunn said that was the best superhero movie ever made. Oh, Gunderson. So what else, David?
Speaking of what?
I like the idea of starting a new job that that is that important, then the first thing you do is lie. Why lie about little things?
Speaking of rolling your eyes and saying what? Thor 5 in the works.
They're doing that?
Potentially with Taika Waititi to return.
Oh, I heard about that.
I don't know how you give that guy another chance.
Give him a chance. He's done it. He's trying his best. Taika Waititi did a TED Talk, and he has like one of my favorite jokes in the world. He's talking about how his first, I think one of his first films was actually a short film, and it got nominated for an Academy Award. And he said, it didn't win, so obviously that was a complete waste of time. Love that. So I don't know, dude. The guy is a talented guy. Whatever. Thor Love and Thunder didn't work.
He was heavily involved in the Mandalorian.
He can do. Yeah, he can try. Give him a chance.
If there was ever a time to have him direct one, it would be right after the biggest failure of his career.
That's how you bounce back.
Yeah.
That's how you learn your lesson.
No doubt.
Do you think he does more jokes this time or less?
No, I think he's going to learn his lesson.
Hey, it's not about the
It just
number.
opens up.
It's
Hercules. I can go the distance.
It's not about. It's not about the number of jokes. It's about the sincerity of them.
Right. How deep do they cut?
Like, how many times did I need to hear those goats scream?
That one drove me nuts.
Yeah.
I think you could probably get away with it twice.
Yeah, 2 times would be good.
And not however many times.
Or how about 3? Set up, reminder, payoff with that.
Nope.
Maybe twice.
Don't need that.
Twice sounds good.
Don't need it. The
Anything
payoff
else,
would be
David?
somebody shooting the goats.
I got 2 more that I saved for last because these are the best.
See, this is good because I don't pay attention to anything happening outside of my own little bubble.
That's good, Sean.
Secret Wars.
We've heard nothing but good things about the news.
Avengers Secret Wars is rumored to be a soft reboot of the entire MCU.
Oh, that's right. You sent us that.
In other words, everybody that we know and love over the last 25 years is going to be reset.
Die.
We're going to have a new...
Tom Cruise will be Iron Man.
Exactly. They're going to redo everything. Maybe Andrew Garfield is now...
Ryan Gosling is everybody else. What do you think, Sean?
I mean, they couldn't even get Christian Bale to do a 30-second cameo in The Flash. I don't actually believe Secret Wars is really going to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out at this trial next week. Jonathan Majors can...
It actually has a lot less to do with that, and it has a lot more to do with the problem of, like there's the housing bubble.
Right.
Like people kept thinking, well, we can just we can juggle these mortgages into the air forever, right?
Right.
And we'll never miss, it'll never fall apart. We just build this stack of cards so high, it's never going to fall over. I have this belief that movies are approaching that kind of a tipping point where the budgets are too big, the expectations are too high, and you're just not going to get people who go to a movie theater anymore. Like the numbers aren't going to even work anymore.
Right.
Because it's like the theater has to charge more and more and more for popcorn. And it's a huge building to accommodate it.
Yeah.
And they don't actually have the sustaining ability to keep theaters like that open enough.
Yeah.
So what is Disney going to do? Just like Halloween USA, they're just going to open up all of their own theaters that are only open during their big movie superhero events. Like I felt like we're seeing a positive feedback loop of the movie industry, at least the theater experience of the movie industry, just not working.
How many people right now are just saying, I'll wait till it comes out on streaming?
At least 3 of us.
At least.
Mannequin doesn't say much, but I'm pretty sure that's where he's at.
Yeah, he's on.
He's waiting until eternity ends.
He's got
to catch up on everything.
He's got Noah's password to HBO Max. Anything else, David?
Yeah, I think this one's the coolest topic that I wanted to talk about.
Hit me.
Do you guys like Zack Snyder?
I think so.
I respect Zack.
Okay.
I don't necessarily love his work as much as I wish I did.
Do you like Star Wars?
Sometimes.
I think so.
Now, follow along.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Zack Snyder, Star Wars.
Right.
He's creating his own Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Totally different.
Oh, yeah,
not Star Wars. His own thing.
Yeah, this thing.
It's called Rebel Moon.
Right.
And he said it's Star Wars with more violence, language, drugs, and something else. I don't remember.
I'd like to ask Zach a question. Hey, Zach, ever heard of death sticks? That's all.
That guy left that bar after Obi-Wan told him he needed to rethink his life, and he became Zack Snyder.
Kind of looked like him.
Zach, the world's just not in that kind of a place right now. I don't think we need that. We don't need that.
Yeah, they were very anti-Star Wars. People are like, what if it was a Star Wars? And everybody in the team's like, F Star Wars.
You know what it needs more of?
Drugs.
It's like no one is really thinking like that. You know what people want out of Star Wars? They want to watch a movie that makes them feel better about their own humanity.
Sure.
They want to cry when they see Rey and Kylo kiss. They want to cheer when they see.
I cried.
They want to see. They want to cheer when.
Why are
when
they doing
this? Stop it!
No.
They want to cheer. They want to rise to their feet when they see Finn realizing his force powers.
Do whatever it was he did in that last movie.
They wanna. Oh, when Huck, what's his name? Hux. When Hux sacrifices himself so that the resistance can get away because he became a good guy in the end.
Say it, David.
Oh, brother.
No, you always say, I'm the spy.
I totally forgot.
I'm the spy. I guess. Anything else, David?
People want truth.
I thought you guys would be excited about something new, but I guess not.
I mean, it just doesn't sound like why would I don't want to watch more dirty things anymore.
Yeah.
I can't take it.
Clean it up.
I mean, maybe the world needs a new Star Wars.
I feel I gotta start. I don't know. I just need to start watching Zaboomafoo.
Dude, Zaboomafoo slaps.
Start watching some Nick Jr.
Bruh. I'll send you those shows to watch.
Just need to really just kind of wash my eyes.
Get on that Bluey train.
Not Blippi though.
No, he's a weirdo. He's a freak. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. Anything else, David?
Nope. Why don't we all say something positive to end this? Because this was very negative.
You're right, Dave. I don't want to be that guy.
I've never been that guy.
So I'm going to be this guy.
Oh. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Cougar fingers.
You go first.
Say something nice about Secret Invasion.
I liked Talos' character. I thought that the villain was done extremely well. He was very villainous in a way that made me feel good about it. And Nick Fury, even though he wasn't the focal point like I wish he could be, there wasn't many twists and everything, it was actually nice to see a show about Nick Fury. He's always just that guy who's pulling the strings in the background and he's omnipotent. No, he's omniscient of as what each character's got going on, but you never see him doing anything.
Knowledge is power.
So it was cool.
He's like the spider. Game of Thrones. Varys.
Is that his name?
God dang, Dave. I thought you were gonna be
that.
right on the ball.
Varys,
yeah. So it was cool to see Nick Fury more than what we normally see him.
And not so much furious, but more sentimental.
With his wife.
Yeah, I'll say that. I liked seeing Nick Fury finding love in a hopeless place. That was cute. I like when characters find somebody that's happy. That's why I don't like the idea of Captain America just hooking up with some random broad on his tour.
Right.
He needed to be with Peggy.
Word.
That was what he needed in the end.
Yeah.
That's why everybody was happy. Exactly. I just want people to be happy.
So
I want him to be happy or die trying so that others can be happy.
Yeah.
That's why we make this podcast.
That's right.
That's why we do what we do.
What about you, David? One positive thing.
I liked when it was over.
I was just going to say that.
No, I liked the action. I liked well, it's hard to be positive. I have so much negativity. I don't like the president. All I see is Mr. Fancy Pants from New Girl. I can't stand it.
That sounds like a personal problem.
But I liked the action and I liked the military scenes. I liked when Gravik was more like military-esque.
Sure.
Versus super.
Like when they attacked that convoy.
Yeah, that was a cool scene.
It was.
That probably was the majority of that $200 million budget. They blew up 2 helicopters, Sean. They really blew them up.
Those helicopters were just Skrulls.
Oh my God.
They just shapeshifted into a helicopter.
Yeah, that would have been a great twist at the end if you find out it's not just Skrulls imitating humans, it's Autobots imitating vehicles.
I was going to say that.
Starscream. No, which one's a helicopter? I don't remember. I gotta watch those movies.
Can't trust anything.
Everything is cake.
I embrace my wife for comfort. She is also a cake.
Well, that'll do it. Anybody we want to shout out? Shout out Noah for coming last week and recording with David. I heard it was a blast. I was at home. I had massive diarrhea. So
shout out to TZ. He'll be turning 30,
dude,
this weekend at the time of the recording.
Shout out to TZ.
It's crazy that my younger brothers are getting older.
I will not let my younger brother get to 30.
You can't keep getting away with it.
Any questions? So what did you guys think of the Secret Invasion? We'll ask the crowd. What did you think about my top 5 Batman list? Who did I snub? What did you think about my description? I don't know. Tell us what your favorite are. Tell us your top 5. What are some good top 5 topics for Sean to hit next week? David after that, me after that. Anything else, David? Nope. Anything else, Sean?
We had a surge in subscriber numbers. I don't even know what happened recently.
Well, it wasn't a reel. I know that.
It's probably something in the water.
Yeah, David just finished his gaming room. We'll throw up a picture of that. That looked pretty sweet.
I'm not going to do that.
But anyway, all right. Well, that's gonna episode 47. Episode 47. This has been a blast. We thank you guys for watching, listening. Please subscribe. Please share with somebody. Please get Gertie on the line. Tell everybody you know. Hit the like button. Help us with the algorithm. And listen on Spotify. Watch on YouTube. We love you. And peace.
Gotta mash the buttons. Gotta mash the sound bites. All right.
Nice. Peace.